Time travel's a bitch, you know?
Right?
All right. From Spontaneously Combustible Studio in Cleveland, Ohio, presented by Permanently Geek, this is Uncovered, the show where we compare an original version of a song and a cover version of that same song and try to decide which one we like more. My name is Michael McFarland. With me, as always, is my co-host, Mr. Kevin Conaway.
Hello.
Who thinks that Rush is better than your favorite band.
They are.
If Rush ever comes up under that piece of cloth, I'm pretty sure I'm going to get a point that episode.
That's probably true.
All right, let's load the hopper up with Rush songs.
Yeah, what the hell? You're already ahead by so much at this point.
What's the score currently?
15 to 9.
15 to 9. Yes, batting under 500.
Under 500.
Under 500.
This is not good.
So, shall we discover what song we're going to be talking about today?
Sure, let's.
All right.
To 1,
A 2,
3.
Oh,
sweet.
Nice.
All right.
A Bond song. This is the first Bond song that we've had on the show.
Yeah.
James Bond themes are one of my great loves as far as music goes. Like I'm a little bit obsessive about them, and Live and Let Die is one of my favorite. It's like in the top 5 for me as far as Bond themes.
It's definitely up there, yeah.
So I'm excited to take a listen to this.
Where does A View to a Kill fit?
It's top 10, but not breaking the top 5.
You're incorrect. So, shall we listen?
Yes. All right, so if A View to a Kill comes up. So we're going to listen to both of these songs in their entirety. You're just going to hear short clips, and we will be right back.
Live and let die. Live and let die. Live and let die.
Final answer?
Final answer.
All right. And we are back. So, I've avoided putting Beatles songs into the active hopper. Because I know that for me it's going to be really difficult in any situation to choose a cover of a Beatles song over the original.
Yeah, I agree.
Wings, on the other hand, I don't have that same qualm with. So
I agree.
that I've sort of put the Beatles on slightly different plane than most artists, especially as far as my reverence for them. But Wings and their solo stuff, like I could believe that someone would cover a George Harrison song and I'd like the cover better than his original. Has anyone ever covered I Got My Mind Set on You? Because someone should. That song is just begging to be covered.
Yeah.
Yeah. Internet, if you know of a good cover of that song, let us know and we'll toss it in the hopper.
Or if you'd like to do one.
If you would like to do one and send it our way, it just might make it in there. I actually have the original of that one on vinyl. So, the interesting thing with this episode and this song matchup is I'm also evaluating on a little bit different criteria than usual because it's a Bond song. So, for me, a Bond song it has to be a great song in its own right, but it's also, it must be judged on how many of the themes, the different motifs in the song can make their way into the soundtrack of the film. And this song, you can tell, was tailor-made. Like, it's almost like a mini rock opera in 3 minutes. Like, it's got the different movements, it's got these different themes, these musical themes that come in. And so I'm much more familiar with the original version of it, so I was really interested to see how well the Guns N' Roses version managed to keep that bondiness, and it did an exceptionally good job. They brought a lot of the orchestral elements, they had some horns in there, they had some strings, they had all kinds of great stuff. They managed to do the transitions between the different time signatures and all of that. Actually, it might just be tempos, not time signatures. But they did all of that exceptionally well. So they passed that test. If you're interested in what I think the absolute worst ever Bond song is, that would be Die Another Day by Madonna. that it was so terrible that I can't remember who the
Fair
composer of the score was for that film, but he was like, I can't use this. Like, I can't use anything in this song in the like score for this film, and so he just came up with his own stuff. So that was the new lead singer of AC/DC that was
yes,
singing
it
on the
was.
cover version, right?
Oh man, why?
It's a sad era for rock and roll.
Yeah.
When Axl Rose takes over lead vocals for AC/DC.
Yeah.
I could go into a rant on that one, but
Yeah, we'll save that for another episode.
sometimes when the lead singer of your band decides he's going to quit, it's just best to let the band.
Maybe it's just time to hang it up.
Live and let the band die.
Yeah, there you go.
So I thought instrumentally, the Guns N' Roses version did exactly what it needed to do of making it a little bit more of a rocked up version. And if you were to remove Axl Rose's vocals from it, you could sort of set it right next to Chris Cornell's theme that he did for Casino Royale, and stylistically they'd be pretty similar. And that's a top 10 Bond song for me as well. I thought he did a great job with that.
I have like 3 different thoughts. They're all trying to get
Well,
out
I just
of my head at the same
verbal
time.
diarrhea all over you, so have at it.
Yeah, I need to go wash my hands. So I have a confession, and that is that I've only seen like maybe 1 or possibly 2 Bond films in my life.
We need to have a slumber party.
Yeah. Watch some Bond.
Watch some Bond.
So when I listened to this song, to be completely honest, I forgot it was a Bond theme until you brought it up in the intro to this video.
All right, fair enough.
Like, this is a really good song. Blah 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 Bond theme. Oh yeah. So your criteria for rating these songs is not the same as mine.
All right, so we're working on a different grading scale.
Different grading scale.
All right, that's fair.
And then, so point number 2, this was hard, man. Like, I know, like, a lot of times in these episodes, you'll sit there and be like, this was a really hard choice. And I'll sit here and nod along with you, and I'll think to myself, like, yeah, I don't know, it wasn't that hard. But this, like, to me, this might be one of the most difficult ones that I've done yet. Because I all of your points about the Beatles and them being kind of on a pedestal with when it comes to everyone else. Paul is also my favorite Beatle.
Okay.
And I regard him as one of the best songwriters and singers ever. And this, I think, post Beatles is one of his best songs. But I love Guns N' Roses too, and like the Use Your Illusion albums were great, and like Guns N' Roses was some of the stuff that I kind of grew up on, and they have a collection of cover songs too, like this one and Knocking on Heaven's Door, and I think there's another one I'm forgetting also, but like they do such a great job on their cover songs also, and like this one it really does stay really true to the original. They keep a lot of the orchestration in there. It still has that just grand, majestic, almost rock opera type feel. It's just a little bit beefier and louder and more distorted.
Beefier is a good word for it.
A little
really
beefier.
Is. It's a little bit beefier.
Yeah. So I love both versions of these songs, so it was a really, really, really tough choice for me to go to figure out which one was better.
Fair enough.
So I said that a lot of times when you say it, I'm like, okay, whatever. When I'm saying it right now, what's your thought? Was it that on a scale of 1 to 10? How hard was this?
This was about a 7 for me as far as
fair
difficulty.
enough. This was an 11 for me.
So shall we reveal what our picks were?
All right, let's do it.
All right, difficulty 11. Here we go.
Here we go.
3, 2, 1.
We have an agreement.
So you went with the Wings version.
I went with the Wings version.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So what aside from the McCartney-ness of it all, what elevated it above Guns N' Roses for you?
Well, it had wings for one thing. Nailed it. It was a neck and neck choice for me. I think it was just the fact that McCartney was singing on it as
Fair
opposed
enough.
to Axl.
Fair
and
enough.
like it's I don't know. Like one is here, the other one's right there. So I
All
went
right.
with Wings.
And for me, it was like, I like Guns N' Roses, but it almost feels like Axl is like parodying himself. Like, if you were right, you sound less like a parody of Axl Rose than Axl Rose sounds like a parody of himself on that song.
Thank you.
So, if you haven't watched this show before, what we were doing when we were writing on those CDs was we were making a guess at what the other person would pick as their favorite. So, shall we take a look at what we picked for each other this time?
Sure.
All right.
Well, at least one of us was wrong. Because Michael incorrectly picked GNR, and the reasoning was it's fucking GNR, which is solid reasoning.
And Kevin picked correctly. He picked for me Wings, and his reasoning was McCartney. Paul McCartney. Points.
Yeah.
So that puts it to 15 to 10 now.
The comeback is back
The
on.
comeback is back. The comeback is come back.
Bringing it back. The comeback, that is.
The comeback. Well, thank you guys so much for joining us for this episode of Uncovered. If you enjoyed it, make sure you subscribe to the Permanently Geek channel, which is where this resides, so that you can catch the next episode where the comeback will go back.
It's going to keep coming back.
Thanks again for joining us, and we will see you next time. What color would you say that shirt is?
It's as black as it could possibly
None
be.
more black.
None more black. It's like, how much more black could this possibly be?